On today's show, the NBA draft is focused on the top of the draft, but in part two of this chat with Brian Schroeder, we talk about the non-contenders for the number one overall pick. A lot of lottery talent in this class as well. We'll get into all of that and more coming up.
You are Locked On Hawks, your daily Atlanta Hawks podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 2153 of the Locked On Hawks podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcast network. I'm your host, Brad Rowland, coming to you on a Tuesday evening into Wednesday here in late January. And today's show is brought to by the folks at FanDuel Sportsbook. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Check it out now at FanDuel. And today, it's actually part two of two with myself and Brian Schroeder, friend of the podcast, NBA draft analyst. If you missed anything from part one, that's available in this same podcast feed right now. And I recommend you beginning with that part one of this conversation. The first part is about the number one overall pick potential of guys like Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, AJ Debonsa. This second part is going to be talking about the next kind of half tier and tier down below guys who certainly could go in the top 5 or 6 of this class. Caleb Wilson, Kingston Flemings, etc. And a fun chat, as always, with Brian. Please stay tuned for more on the same podcast feed later on this week. Subscribe, tell your friends, and here we go with part two with myself and Brian. I want to pivot and ask you about some of the guys we already talked about kind of briefly, but guys who are clearly like mid to high lottery guys in this draft, because there is a world, just for the Hawks fans listening or watching, like even if the Pelicans have finished with 20 wins, it could be the 5th pick in the draft very easily. It's possible, right? So I say that. You got, I'll just throw some names out there. We'll just kind of dive into these guys a little bit more. I think the, not consensus, but like the most frequent 4 and 5 in some order now is probably Caleb Wilson and Kingston Flemings. Is that Wilson's been the kind of fourth for a while for a lot of people. Flemings has come on in a big way. You got guys like Michael Brown, Jaden Quaintance, Keaton Wagler announced himself with authority on Saturday with a monster game at Purdue, for example. Who else?
Pete is in there.
Pete. I know if I'm looking at your stuff, Cameron Carr is of intrigue to you from Baylor.
My boy. Yeah, that's my guy.
So there are other names, even down the list. Like there are people that just love Darius Acuff. I'm not
Darius Acuff, yeah.
People love Darius Acuff.
I'm slowly moving him up just because he is consistently scoring, like at a high level.
Oh yeah, I get it. I get the appeal. It's just not like my kind of player, but I get it.
Yeah, and my we can talk about him for a second. My real issue with Acuff is his defense is bad enough, and he's not a bad passer, but I would say he's a guy who gets a high assist rate because he has the ball all the time, not necessarily because he's a creator. But I think the question with that is it's really just in this NBA, like how many 6'2" guys who aren't very good at defense and have huge usage rates are actually like stars?
Well, obviously you're coming on the Atlanta Hawks podcast where this has been a topic for quite some time.
But Trey, among all, I mean, despite all his problems, Trey is a high level. Like Trey is a creator. Like, he creates shots for other people.
That was my whole point all along. But no, philosophically, there's interesting debates happening, and it will apply to this draft on some level about like small guards are getting phased out in general. That's just happening, and you have to be if you are going to be a small guard in the NBA right now, you have to be so good that that you're worth the trouble on defense. Essentially, is what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's not even worth the trouble on defense. It's Acuff is just going to be a high usage guy. Like a potential downside. Now, this player was hampered by injury, but I think of Cole Anthony a lot when I watch him. I also think of Jameer Nelson. But like, what would Jameer Nelson be right now?
A backup point guard. I mean, that's like without going through every roster in the league. How many guys in the NBA right now are players that teams have no problem playing, like are excited to play 35 minutes a game, who are 6'2" or shorter? How many are there?
Trey Jones, depending on the matchup.
And Trey Jones is like a fringy guy. I mean, he's a good player, but like he's not a guy you're building your team around. It's Brunson, John, Trey are like in this weird nether world now, where like
Lillard, if he was healthy, maybe,
but Dame's like at the age where he may not be healthy ever again. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have to go through all of it, but we saw we saw this coming in the draft a few years ago. Like the
I think Acuff would be a surefire top 10 guy in like 2017 to me.
Right. I mean, we saw
it's not 2017 NBA anymore.
Last year, the one guy who went that high with this profile was Jeremiah Fierce, and he went to New Orleans, and that front office is on another planet anyway. And we'll see, but like I said this at the time about Jeremiah Fierce, I didn't dislike him. The problem was he has to be a star, or it's not going to work. That's it. And that's the same thing with like honestly, Michael Brown's the same thing.
Mikal is at least 6. I think his defense is
bigger.
okay.
He's bigger, but Mikal
basically has to be. Yeah, Mikal basically has to be like some version of Halliburton for it to work. I feel like I don't know if he is that.
Every single time there's a first round guard now who's 6'2" or shorter, it's going to be the same conversation. Like Tyler Tanner, I like. He's come on. He's been really good this year. He is 6 feet tall. Like he's real small. And like
now the difference for him, he is an incredible vertical athlete.
He is.
He's got 13 during dunks. Abuko Corey has the same issue. I mean, I think with those guys, the comparison to Acuff, and they're in the same tier for me. Like again, I have Acuff in the 3rd tier, which is a first rounder tier. I just don't have him 2. I don't have him that 2nd tier, which is like starter. I think the difference for me is that Acuff is a very usage-dominant pull-up guy. He can get to the rim well, but he's not what I would call he's not a guy whose primary thing is getting into the paint, and he's not that fast. Whereas Corey is like Dennis Smith, De'Aaron Fox level fast, where it's just like, oh, he's just going to get in the paint every game. And he has his bad games. When he had 38 against North Carolina, he crushed them. Duke and Cal basically triple teamed him and took him out of those games, which is like, yeah, I mean, that can happen with the little guys, the problem. But like, for me, it's a stylistic thing. Like Tanner and Corey are much more downhill attacking guards than Acuff. And I think that's more viable now. Like that's a thing you do. Whereas like Acuff, I guess there's a world he can be Keontae George, but he's smaller. And also, is Keontae George actually good? Like, is he an all-star? Is he like a building block for a good team? He's obviously good. Think so.
Yeah.
He's obviously good. He's had some incredible scoring games, but is he, like, when the Jazz are good, will he be their point guard?
Don't know. We'll see. No, that's a jumping off point. I'm trying to. These guys are different players, but you did a good job of kind of laying that out. Like, there's a
Christian Anderson has this problem too. Although Christian Anderson is more of a pure pick and roll guy, so I think there is more. He is a guaranteed backup point guard to me.
Yeah, and there's just because of the fact that the Hawks traded Trey and McCollum's a free agent at the end of the year. A lot of people ask me like, "Hey, what's the plan at point guard?" And they name all these guys, right? And they're different players. All these guys are different players, but it's like, well, do the Hawks have to draft a point guard this draft? Is what I hear all the time. I'm like, no, they don't have to. Can they?
I think taking one of those guys at 19 wouldn't be if that's what the pick is.
It's totally fine to do. I'm just saying they don't have to. And part of the reason that Trey is not here anymore is that this front office, I don't think, wants to have a small guard that they worry about in defense. I think they would prefer not to have that player.
If you want that, let's say they draft Peterson and they want that 4th guard, you can always just sign, Trey Jones, that kind of guy, to the mid-level or something.
And somebody you're not worried about on defense, which is some of these guys might be fine. Like, I'm not saying that they have no chance of being good at defense, but
I mean, Phylon, the reason I have Phylon as high as I have him, he's 6'3". He's taller than these guys. But the reason I have him top 10 is his defense is unbelievable. Like, he's like Rondo level, like heating guys up with the ball in their hands and like denying penetration. I've talked about this before. For me, especially in the modern NBA, people talk about running the offense, which is unless you're Halliburton, you're making these unbelievable jump passes and like you're a perfect decision maker. To me, a point guard's real job is to make the defense rotate, to get into the paint, to make the defense react to you. So on the other side, point guard defense for me is how good are you at stopping that? Yeah. How good are you at that's why Marcus Smart's still playing point guard for the Lakers. I mean, he's not running their offense, but that's why he's still defending point guards because he's still incredibly good at just not letting people beat him up.
Do it. Yeah.
You can put him on an island against anybody, and he's fine still. And Phylon, I don't know if he's different body than Marcus Smart, but I think Phylon is that level good at just not allowing people to beat him off dribble. Whereas like Mikal, Brown, obviously, Tanner's really good at it. Even Sturts to an extent.
He's just so small, man. Like,
yeah.
I like Tanner. There's a different level of small that he happens to be.
Yeah. Sturts, Corey, Tanner, Acuff, Christian Anderson. Even I think Billy Thomas's defense is really good. Billy Thomas is an off guard anyway. Those guys all have more of that issue as like point of attack defenders. Where I just don't know, man. I don't know how good you are at it, really. Whereas you get a guy like Killian Toure, who I think is not really a point guard, but Killian Toure is like a monster at that. He's a great defender. And he's also 6'4.5". Like he's Dort, Iman Shumpert size. It's a very different variable for a guy that big. It's Anthony Melton-ish. It's tough with guards. I don't like it. Like I said, if this was 2017, I'd probably have Acuff at like 7 or 8, because I'd be like, yeah, this guy could be a starting point guard. It's just not. This is not the league we're in anymore.
I carry a lot of responsibility in my household. If something happened to me, there would be serious consequences. We have a mortgage. We got tuition. We got everyday bills. Those aren't going anywhere if something happens to me. And I know that's an overwhelming feeling, but I'm taking steps to protect my family by getting life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast, easy, and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. And as of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LocdownNBA. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LocdownNBA. That's ethos.com/LocdownNBA. Ethos.com/LocdownNBA. Application times and rates may vary.
On this somewhat topic, Kingston Flemings is.
He does not have this issue at all.
No, he does not. But he's what, 6'4" or so, lead guard.
Maybe 6'5", yeah, 6'4".
Real size, is a lead guard for sure. 17 points a game this year. A couple of huge games lately. He had that 43-point game yesterday. Averaging 4 steals per 100 possessions. Like, ball hawk defensively. Just like the the prototypical Houston guard, but with like NBA talent, basically.
Yeah. He is the fastest player in this draft.
Yeah, he's last 8 games, by the way, 20.6 assists a game. Like, he's coming on in a way you can tell that Kelvin Sampson loves him, which is not usual for a first year player.
No.
I have to say I love Kingston Flemings. If the Hawks get the 4th pick instead of the 1st pick, it will be unfortunate, but they can draft Kingston Flemings and I'll be fine.
Yeah. He's an interesting combination. I've been thinking about this and I have a guy for it. How many, and this is a guy who wasn't very good when he came in, I guess, but how many, I kind of consider him a combo guard, but that's still, you can be a combo guard in today's NBA, especially if you're like a Hawks, you'd be just fine.
Well, yeah, and most of these guys, by the way, most of these guys who are 6'4" at least are not like the most pure point guards anyway. Like, that's the whole thing, is that the league is moving more towards these guys.
It's a feature, not a bug.
Correct.
But Fleming, how many guys have had the combination of pull-up shooting? I mean, he's a monster 16 feet and out pull-up. Like, his perfect balance is perfect. He's got long arms. He's hard to contest. Pull-up shooting, general playmaking, getting to the rim, which he's pretty good at. Defensive, just monster ability, and high-level speed at 6'4". How many guards come into the NBA with that? And honestly, the last guy I think of is Chauncey Billups. Chauncey was a little disappointing when he came in, but if you're getting a Chauncey Billups won Finals MVP. He was a monster.
Slow start, and I think people won't remember.
And Kingston will probably have issues starting. All guards are. I mean, Reed Shepherd was bad last year.
Yeah,
and he's awesome right now. He's been great.
Well, You know this, but I say this all the time, so it's part of my shtick. Like rookies in general, but especially rookie guards are bad, man. They don't know what they're
Yeah.
doing. And I think the good thing was that Flemings has a lot of ability that can mask that because I think he'll actually be able to defend right away, which most guards
Yeah.
can't. But as a rookie,
I mean,
like I don't think he's going to be awesome. No.
De'Aaron Fox is the guy he's kind of like, but he's just way better at defense. Like, yeah, I think Flemings is absolutely just a
And
franchise level
bigger.
point guard.
I think he's bigger than
Yeah.
Fox too.
Yeah.
So
Not just
yeah, I
taller,
think
but like.
oh, here's a question for you. We did it earlier with the Bonsa. Would Flemings have been the number one pick in 2024? The Risha Sar draft?
Yeah, I mean, I might have still had Star ahead of him, but I was a big Star guy.
I know.
But
I
I
mean, me
mean,
too. I have both.
he'd be two. I don't think he'd be farther than two.
Yeah. So I mean, that gives you a comparison. Again, that's not to. It's not always that's linear, but if the Hawks end up in that 4, 5, 6 range, Flemings is a guy who was like would be a real top 3 guy.
I'm trying to think now. Since I've been doing this since 2018, and obviously in 2018, Luka was a guard, Trey's a guard, Shea was a guard. I would have had. I mean, the Shea, so I was the Shea guy. I would have it at
You
4.
were extremely right about Shea. Extremely. You and Mike Schmitz were extremely right about Shea.
2019, he'd probably be right behind Ja, if not with Ja. I mean, Ja's athleticism wasn't as so crazy.
And the passing too. Ja's passing was better.
Yeah. 2020, I had LaMelo 1. I probably still would, but it'd be LaMelo. I mean, he'd be with Maxey and Halliburton. Maxey's a guy he kind of plays like too. He's just bigger.
Yeah, Maxey was better. I mean, Maxey's. I liked Maxey just like you did. I had him in my top 10.
I had him 4.
I'm still surprised he's averaging 30 points a game in the
I mean,
NBA this year.
better than I thought he'd be. But I thought he was like a definite starter, like a guy who could make.
I remember. I remember taking Maxey in a mock draft as the Hawks. People yelling at me, and I was right about that.
And then Halliburton, who I loved, and then 2021. I mean, Cade ahead of him for guards, but that's probably it. 22. Well, I'd have him ahead of, and I love Jaden Ivey, but I think I would have had him ahead of Ivy. He's just a better shooter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then 23, got him and Scoot, and then
he's also a dog too. This thing about Flemings that I like, he's a dog. He plays really hard.
Flemings is almost, he's right at that level of almost too much dog, which is where I want my guys right there. Speaking of Caleb Wilson, is like a almost too much dog in him.
Let's talk about Caleb Wilson. 6'9" from UNC, averaging literally 20 and 10 in the ACC, like averaging 20 and 10, full stop, 20 and 10, plus 3 stocks a game.
And he said that before the year, and people kind of scoffed at him. He wants to average 20 and 10. It's like, no,
I mean, he's doing it. Really, not a lot of questions. Like his perimeter shooting is a question. He's taken only 20 all year long from 3, and I think he's 5-20.
But he's really, really good at the he's got like the Jeremy Grant. Sharif is a guy I've compared him to, like that 16-foot, like put you on his hip and take a little fadeaway, Luol Deng style shot, and like and he's a good foul shooter. Like he should be able to shoot spot ups just fine.
I don't think I think he'll be able to shoot a little. I'm not worried about it. I mean, I think early on, maybe it was the too much dog in him thing. I think his early defense was like not as good as it could have been, but he's been really good.
Too aggressive
since then. Yeah, just kind of overzealous, and you'd rather have that than underzealous. To your point,
I mean, Tariq thing.
Yeah, he is. That's actually a pretty good comparison for his defense. I really like Caleb Wilson a lot.
Yeah,
I almost feel bad that he's not going to get in my top 3 because I just don't think he has the path to do that. But like him being 4th is not a slight at him. He's really 4th or 5th, I should say.
He's a ball getter. He's I mean, I've compared him. Like I said, Sharif is the guy I've compared him to. I said Rage Virus, Scotty. If you took out Scotty Barnes's, I love Scotty Barnes, but if you replace Scotty Barnes's kind of aloof stoner mentality with like the Rage Virus, that's what you get.
Hard. Yeah.
And then Scotty Barnes plays really hard, but it's just his like demeanor is very, very, very flat. And then the other one, the one I like the most, is if you put Kevin Garnett's brain in Jeremy Grant's body. That's my comparison for Caleb Wilson. If you took a guy like Jeremy Grant, that kind of build, that kind of old Syracuse, wiry Perry Jones style build, but did a Fallout style brain surgery where you gave him like a lunatic. You made him into a lunatic. That's Caleb Wilson.
He is.
And I love that.
This is something that I know you know already, but he is about a year older than Boozer. which isn't nothing. He's not old, but he's 19. He'll be 20
He's
this summer.
slightly older than average freshman. It's fine.
Yeah, he's like 6 months older than DeBenson, Peterson, and a year older than Boozer, essentially. Which is fine. No, I mean, and he's the best UNC prospect since Marvin Williams.
Yeah, I mean Harrison Barnes.
I mean, Harrison Barnes pre-college.
Yeah,
I think he's a better prospect. After the first year, it was like, I like Harrison Barnes fine, but he's not. Harrison Barnes pre-college Kobe comparisons were not being made anymore by the time the draft actually came. So yeah, maybe Barnes. I think it sets Marvin. Like, Oh, how big is he? I saw him listed at 6'10" somewhere. Is he actually
6'9", 6'10"? I think 6'9". He's at least 6'9". He's tall. He's probably going to weigh in like 215, 220. Like he is. I moved him in my big man grouping.
I was going to say, like,
huge,
positionally,
how are you
viewing him positionally?
He's a 4.
Can he play the 5 in the NBA?
I mean, like Todd Gibson could.
Well, Todd Gibson was 38 years old when he was drafted. So
yeah, sure. But I think so. I mean, I think he's just going to be, and I think that does limit him a little bit positionally for some teams. Where like I don't know if Memphis would want him if they pick there, but like I don't know. I think he's just really good. He switches everything. He scores. He's the kind of, this didn't work for Keon Johnson, but I remember Ben Pfeiffer when Keon was a prospect, and Grib and I, we were all talking about this. Mike Gribanoff, for those who don't know. A good marker of a guy who could become a more polished scorer is a guy who just reacts really quickly and gets loose balls and scores like crazy. And that's Caleb Wilson. I mean, he's the best garbage man in this class. Well, I mean, Boozer's really good at it, but like he gets to all these loose balls, and eventually that's going to start turning into him getting the loose balls, taking 2-3 dribbles, and hitting a pull up. And like if he starts doing that, then he's going to be like a 16, 17 a game scorer. He's just going to be a legitimate number 2 or 3 option for somebody. If he's a number 3 option and he plays lunatic defense and dunks everything, like that's a max player. That's Aaron Gordon contract.
Yeah.
Like I have very little doubt about Caleb Wilson being just a very good NBA player. He's awesome.
I'm with you. The surprise to me was that he's scored like this at the college level, like at a real.
He's just athletically beyond. Yeah, he's just beyond everybody athletically.
He's sunning everyone, which I appreciate about him. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff. The final chance to get on the action before NFL season actually comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel's making sure that you're right in the middle of the action with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing a favorite, riding the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, this is the game that everyone has been waiting for. This is where predictions turn into parlays, and plays and stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger and bigger. Plus, FanDuel still have everything you're looking for, from pregame lines and live lines, for all kinds of sports across the board. That includes basketball, which we talk about all the time on this podcast. Plus, we have hockey, golf, tennis, baseball, MMA, boxing, et cetera, et cetera. It's all there for you at FanDuel. And FanDuel is a perfect way to cap up the season with make Super Bowl even more exciting. Kick off until the final whistle. And if you're a new customer at FanDuel, bet just $5. You get $200 in bonus bets if you win. That's $5 and $200 in bonus bets if you win on FanDuel if you are a new customer. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. It's the last call for football on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com right now to get started. Tax season does not have to actually take over your entire life. This year, TurboTax make it easier than ever. Just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax Full Service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert from start to finish without the stress or the guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can actually meet with a local TurboTax expert in person, or you can connect online with that same expert. They handle everything from W-2 self-employed forms and work to get you every single deduction that you can. You'll upload the documents yourself, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a massive time saver. It gives you real peace of mind knowing that an expert is actually handling it for you all in one place. For a limited time, you get your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150, all in, if the expert TurboTax did not file for you last year. Just file by February 28th for that. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local. That's TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Before I get you out of here, some more guys to talk about quickly. We talked about Michael Brown a little bit earlier. He just came back finally after missing like 6 weeks with a back injury. Nice to see that. Yep. What's up, Jaden Quaintance just has been in and out. He's barely played this year too.
His knee's still bothering him. That's what I'm worried about. But he's looked like a Duran level, just athletic force when
And
he's
his
played.
defense is
So
scary good when it's right.
yeah,
He's the kind of guy that's like, if the Hawks fall down a little bit further, if the Pelicans
I
get
think
hot,
he's the number one center.
actual
With
center. Yeah.
a shout out to my boy Masamba Diop, who is an Evan Mobley style freak mover.
How
That guy's awesome.
how
We
real
watched him
is
at
the
Arizona State.
Keaton? How real is the Keaton Wagler thing to you?
I mean I was hesitant on him as a one and done for a few weeks because he wasn't shooting. He was shooting like 21% from three, and now he's up to like 44 on like real range. I mean, Purdue just switched him every day, and he killed them. They
He
switched him
literally
all the
had
time.
46 points and 9 threes at Purdue as a freshman
Yeah,
yesterday. He
he's
was not a
got
big
the Trey
RSCI guy.
style.
Like,
No,
if you watch
well
that game, people would know that now, but he was not a huge
he had
prospect coming in.
he had two high major offers. He was going to go to Minnesota, and then Illinois swooped in at the last minute because I think they were actually watched him. Were like, this guy's pretty good. He started for them to start the year, and he was kind of just a fill in, like just a shooting, like a stretch the floor kind of three for a while, and now he's like their main guy on a team that has a bunch of upperclassmen. Kylan Boswell has Andrei Stojakovic, the Ivisic twins. David Mirkovic is a pro. Mihailo
Yep.
Petrovic is a pro. Like he is their guy. The question has just been his athleticism. I think that's why he wasn't on a higher RCI guy. He does not have a dunk this year. He's got a few attempts. He's gotten fouled a few times. He's just not vertically explosive of all, but he's fast. Like he moves well, and he's one of these guys who, if you do a 2K stats, which I do, of course, his speed and his speed with ball are identical. He's one of those guys who moves as fast with the ball as he does without, which is a big, like, that is a good way to maintain value if you're not like an explosive athlete. I would say the shooting is not like, I don't know if he's a guy he's not a Cal Corver, like run around screens 5 times, because his release is kind of low. It's a little bit of a tray. Actually, it's a little bit of like Trey's or Steph Curry's where it's generated. His legs kind of stay and he kind of just pops it, which is different than, it's not like Clay. It's not like Clay or Ray Allen where he's, that's kind of what I mean. Clay, Ray Allen, Cal Corver, Reddick, where he's not like picture perfect top of his release.
Right.
It's a little more this,
Gush,
but he's
gush
fast.
Yeah.
It's really fast.
Well, and he's been productive. I mean, you mentioned it, but like last 12
and
games,
6'6". He's 6'6" is the thing.
last 12 games, it's 25-5 in the Big Ten.
Mhm.
Like, you can't really fake that, especially when you're 18 or whatever he is. He's really
He
skinny.
turns 19. He's skinny. He's not like, he's like 195. Like he'll be 2'3". This is a weird comparison, and I know this is not. I have this guy 10, and this is not a guy you would want to be compared to if you're going 10. He honestly is like when Denzel Valentine was on his big runs at Michigan State. This is, I think, what we thought Denzel Valentine was.
Except he was 23 at the time instead of
Yeah, that's the
18.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like this guy is just like crazy range, really crafty, smart playmaker, and just like has that like real cold. Keaton Wagler yesterday, it looked like he was shooting in practice, not just because he was getting easy look, but because he didn't seem like he cared. He was just like, oh, I did a shot, cool. Very, very, very flat demeanor. No matter if he's 1 for 10 or 9 for 10, he doesn't seem to change his demeanor at all, that's a sign of being a pro in a lot of ways. I mean, that's also a sign of being Tony Snell, but Tony Snell was a pro. So
I was a pro for a long time. Yeah, I'm with you.
I just have to have the thing with this draft. I would say I think I've had an issue with. I've had my Wilson, Flemings, Phylon, Carr, Mikael Brown, Clayton's kind of group in the second tier for a long time. Those guys I feel all pretty solid about. Guys like Toa Pete, Steinbach, Thomas Hauk, Wagler, Bennett Sturts. Those guys have kind of flitted in and out of Gungba. Where like I've had trouble finding like the 8 to 15 guys who I feel really great about, and I think that's why Walker's got to be 10 now for me because None of these other guys have done this. Ko Pete had his great first game, but Ko Pete has not attempted a three. That's my
Yeah,
concern about him.
Koa
6'8".
Pete's, yeah, his Koa Pete's NBA translations are not my favorite.
If he was 6'10", he'd be the number one center, and I would love him. But he's 6'7.5", 6'8".
Not, yeah.
Yeah, and like he
Um,
can't. He we talk about this all the time. It's not that he can't shoot; he does not shoot jumpers.
and you have
Which is
to. If you're that
you have
size,
to.
you have to.
Yeah,
Or I mean, there are some players that like can figure out a ways to not shoot. We're watching it right now with a personal favorite of mine. Dice Daniels is just not shooting anymore. But Dice Daniels is so outlier, absurd at other things that he's able to
yeah.
override it.
I mean,
And even then, it's still a
Zion's not
problem.
really shooting. Like Zion's
Uh,
not really shooting. Ko Pete is not Zion.
No. I'm with you 100%. You mentioned before Quays is the number one center, just because I know Hawks fans are going to ask me before we get out of here. There's a belief that the Hawks just have to draft a center. I don't have that belief, but if they
No, I wouldn't.
if they were to target one, let's say with their second pick, which is like going to be in that like 15 to 23 range, somewhere in there. Is there anybody you like in that range at center long term? Like, is it,
Masamba Diop.
Arizona State, just for everybody knows.
Yeah, Patrick Gungba, if he's there, would just be Patrick Gungba he's this year's Eve Missy to me, where I don't love him, but he's just like a nice baseline center. Like this guy is an NBA center.
Yeah,
Could start on a team that has good depth or be a really good backup. So I think Gungba would be a perfectly if you're determined to get a center, if you're determined to get like a Walker Kessler, there's Gungba. He's just good. He's a good player, good passer, block shots. He's not really sexy or like dominant in anything, but he's just. I mean, he's a 21 BPM guy, but that's Duke is being like last year with Malawatch. Duke is being buoyed by a historically good player. Then a Daimara would be in there. I guess there's a way you could draft Lendeborg and make him a center. Henry Vasar is in there, and then Malachi Moreno, probably the last guy, or Badunga, but Badunga is so weird. So I would say those guys would all be at 19. I wouldn't think was a bad pick. Mara would be the weirdest one. That'd be fun.
I mean, he's very large. He's a very large man.
Yeah, Mara running pivot stuff with Jalen Johnson flashing in for dunks would be fun.
I'm in on that for obvious reasons.
Mara, I mean, he probably is as good a passer as is humanly possible for someone who cannot dribble.
That's a good.
Like he's really incredible. Like it's really like Marcus All Sabonis shit he can do. But
he
like,
just happens to be 7'3" and can't do anything else below.
He cannot dribble.
If he puts the ball down, it's trouble. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a really, really fun basketball player, and he's now playing for a coach who actually understands how to use talented players and doesn't break them and throw them under the bus every time they don't win by 35, which is all the time because they're not very good. Who am I talking about? We could never guess.
No. All right. So before the power goes out on me again, we should get out of here because hopefully it'll be seamless when people see this. But there's an ice storm in Atlanta, and a power loss in the middle of this, and Brian snowed in as well. It's just what life is in January, apparently. More so where you live than where I live usually, but
we missed. To be fair, I've only got like 2 feet of snow,
only 2 feet was what you just said.
There's places that are getting like. There's places that are like 40 inches. So yeah,
it's bad like everywhere. I mean, obviously Atlanta.
Well, we just and like no ice, from what I can tell. So
we have ice and no snow. So I'm with you. Folks should be following you on Patreon. Where can they find that, sir?
Patreon.com/BrianJNBA. There it is, right there.
That's the place. Brian
JNBA. I realized a couple years ago I should have my Patreon name and my Twitter name be the same.
It would be good to do. I did that too with my Patreon on accident, so that worked out well for me. But yeah, follow Brian throughout. I will certainly be asking you to come back on.
My big board is being updated as we speak. My capsule board.
You tweeted some stuff today, some new rankings. So
yep,
capsules being the capsule big. I would just say Brian's capsule big board is extremely valuable. So you want to keep an eye on that. I have it filed.
That's where I'm putting all my stats and all my comps right now.
File that away, folks. I encourage you. Brian, thank you for being here. I will bug you another time to come talk about this. And Unfortunately, not the NFL. I was excited to talk to you about the NFL, but we won't do that for a while. Hey, you're wearing an Indiana shirt, though. Go Hoosiers.
I am.
Right?
And an Indiana hat.
Still basking in the glow of supremacy,
Why not?
of football supremacy for Indiana, which is a weird statement, but that happened. So congrats on that.
Give it a row.
They
might do it. Then.
Hey, I'm not in the business of shouting Chris Signetti ever again, so I won't be doing that ever. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. As for everybody else, please subscribe to this podcast, follow Brian's work, and we'll see you all next time.